Welcome, coin lovers. What if I told you that a coin struck in the mid-1980s still carries the face of a president, the mark of a historic mint, and secrets that only collectors truly understand? The 1985 Philadelphia Kennedy half dollar is far more than just 50 cents. It's a fascinating window into America's history, economy, and culture. The birth of the Kennedy half. The Kennedy half dollar was first introduced in 1964 as a memorial to President John F. Kennedy, who had been tragically assassinated just months earlier. Its release was met with overwhelming public demand, as Americans saw the coin not just as money, but as a tribute to a fallen leader. By 1985, 2 decades later, the coin had secured its place in U.S. coinage as a constant reminder of Kennedy's legacy. Why 1985 matters. At first glance, the 1985 half dollar may not seem particularly rare. Millions were minted, and they were produced for everyday use. Yet, for collectors, this date holds importance as it represents a transitional era in U.S. coinage. When silver was long gone, mint marks had become standardized and circulation patterns were changing. The 1985 issue also marks one of the earlier years when the Philadelphia Mint used the P Mint mark, making it historically significant for mint mark collectors. The Philadelphia P mark. The P Mint mark on the 1985 half dollar is located on the obverse, just below Kennedy's neck and above the ear. Prior to 1980, Philadelphia coins typically carried no mint mark at all. So, for many collectors, the early 1980s Philadelphia coins, including the 1985 half dollar, represent a turning point when Philadelphia proudly began marking its identity on U.S. coinage. This small letter tells a big story about the evolution of minting practices. The design and its meaning. The design of the Kennedy half dollar remained consistent in 1985. The obverse, designed by Gilroy Roberts, features a left-facing bust of John F. Kennedy, his hair detailed with careful engraving. The reverse, by Frank Gasparo, shows the presidential seal, a heraldic eagle with a shield on its chest, clutching arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by 50 stars. Together, the design communicates strength, leadership, and America's role on the world stage. Metal composition and weight. The 1985 Kennedy half dollar was not struck in silver, but in copper, nickel-clad. Its composition was 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, with a pure copper core sandwiched between nickel layers. Each coin weighed 11.34 grams and measured 30.6 millimeters in diameter. While some collectors miss the silver shine of earlier halves, the copper-nickel version was durable, economical, and practical for circulation. Mintage figures. In 1985, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 20 million half dollars. Though this seems like a massive number, the coin had already fallen out of favor with the general public. Banks often reported that half dollars were rarely requested, meaning many of these coins ended up in storage bags or rolls rather than active circulation. This helped preserve more examples in uncirculated condition, which is why collectors today can still find bright, clean 1985 P-halves. The role of the half dollar in the 1980s. By the mid-1980s, the half dollar had largely disappeared from vending machines, cash registers, and daily transactions. Most Americans preferred the quarter and dollar bill, leaving the half dollar as something of an oddity. Still, the coin remained important to casinos, collectors, and certain industries that use it in bulk transactions. The 1985 P-half dollar thus reflect a period when the denomination was slowly fading from everyday life, but still had a functional role. Error coins and varieties. Collectors pay close attention to errors, and the 1985 P. Kennedy half dollar has a few notable examples. Some coins show double die obverse features, particularly in Kennedy's profile or the inscriptions. Others may exhibit off-center strikes, weak strikes, or planchet flaws. These unusual coins are rare survivors of minting mistakes and can be far more desirable to collectors than ordinary examples. Condition and grading importance. While most 1985 P-halves are common in circulated grades, condition makes a dramatic difference in collector value. Coins graded MS-65 and higher with sharp details, full luster, and no major marks are much harder to find. In fact, professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have recorded relatively few examples in top grades, such as MS-67, making them highly sought after. For serious collectors, the challenge is not finding the coin, it's finding the perfect coin. Auction highlights. Though not as dramatic as silver rarities, some 1985 p half dollars have fetched surprising prices at auction. Especially in high mint state grades, collectors compete fiercely to secure the finest examples. A single top-graded coin can sell for many times its face value. These stories remind us that even modern-looking coins, when perfectly preserved, can become miniature treasures in the eyes of numismatists. Historical context of 1985. Looking beyond the coin itself, 1985 was a year of major developments in the United States. Ronald Reagan was serving his second term as president. The Cold War tensions were slowly shifting and technology was advancing rapidly. Against this backdrop, the Kennedy half-dollar remained a quiet reminder of another president who once represented hope, progress, and vision. Holding a 1985 half-dollar is like holding a small piece of mid-1980s America. Cultural legacy of the Kennedy half. The Kennedy half-dollar is more than currency. It is an icon. It connects generations who lived through Kennedy's presidency with younger Americans who only know him through history. The 1985 issue, though not silver or rare, still carries its cultural weight. It is a coin that bridges memory, identity, and national pride. For collectors, this makes a coin special in a way no price tag can fully capture. Why collectors still care. In the end, the 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar may not be the rarest or most valuable coin in U.S. history. Yet, it continues to fascinate collectors for what it represents, a blend of historical tribute, minting evolution, and cultural significance. Whether found in circulation, stored in rolls, or graded in a collector's showcase, the coin stands as proof that even ordinary pocket change can tell extraordinary stories. Thank you for watching, coin lovers. The 1985 Philadelphia Kennedy half-dollar reminds us that every coin has a story, from mint marks to design, from circulation to collector passion. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Royal Coin Value for more hidden stories from America's coinage. And in the comments below, let us know, do you have a Kennedy half-dollar in your collection, and what year is your favorite? Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and keep the history alive.